Now, to most fighting troops, this is a sight and sound of freedom, as if it's coming over the hill in an operational theatre. Charlie will run in, relatively high speed, and go straight into his first manoeuvre, which is a nose-over, 360 degree right in front of you. It's a new manoeuvre for this year. It hasn't been featured before in previous displays. So to open day 3 of Airborne, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2014 Chinook display team. Seriously big helicopter to throw around the skies, and it's really impressive to see how Charlie Brown shows off its agility. Move off to the left hand side now, and then I'll come back into a big wing over and into the next one. I know, one of the most popular manoeuvres. I heard Radio Airbourne running a competition this morning. I don't know who's won it, but they may well have announced it already. It was to count the number of rotor blades. Well, here you can see for yourself what the answer is. Now, the crew positioning this in for the roller coaster. Pushing up, they're almost at standstill, and then they keep that up, and all the blood rushes to their head, and they just get a cockpit window full of sea. Flight Lieutenant Charlie Brown, the captain here today, actually grew up in Hong Kong, but returned to the UK to study at the University of Nottingham in 2000. Joined the Air Force in 2004, commenced his flying training, went on to fly Chinooks at Odeum. His first frontline tour on 27th Squadron in 2008. Now into another wing over, and he'll reposition now along this line in front of us we call the A-axis from right to left. We'll go into another nose over, 360 degrees. Spiral down. This, and then move off to the left hand side and perform another wing over before running back in for their next manoeuvre. Running back in now from the left-hand side. Charlie will demonstrate how you can stop this aircraft in a very, very small error. There it is, the nose down, 270-degree turn. Now watch now as the ramp comes down at the back, and Anna Irwin will put her great big wavy hands on. You can see them now, they're day glow, and as the aircraft flies sideways down the flight line, there, boys and girls, the first big wave of the day. As they come past you, give the crew a great big wave and a cheer, because they really appreciate it, and all the pilots will later on today as well. But you'll see these fabulous great big day glow hands, and it's their opportunity to show their appreciation, and hopefully yours as well. The aircraft comes down the line. You'll notice it's 3 hooks which are used to carry underslung loads. These hooks can hold up to 10.5 metric tons. There's Anna in the back. You see, great big hands. They're brilliant, aren't they? Yeah, come on, boys and girls. Great fun, isn't it? It's a lovely day. Whatever you've got, hats, umbrellas, ice creams, give her a wave. Super stuff. The ability to carry 3 external loads simultaneously while carrying a huge internal load has made the Chinook famous the world over, thus becoming the backbone for operations, medical evacuation and tasking in the Afghan theatre. Aircraft today weighs approximately 15 tons, but you can see just how highly manoeuvrable it is, making it an ideal battlefield helicopter, especially suited to the evacuation role. Demonstrating now their Gorny climb. This was named after the base in Bosnia, where the Chinook demonstrated its excessive power compared to other helicopters in theatre. This is now followed 720-degree corkscrew descent just below 1,000 feet. They conduct involve fast, high-paced manoeuvres to quickly extract the casualty from the battlefield, often under enemy fire. Charlie and his crew now repositioning the aircraft over to the left-hand side for another big wing over. So as they come back down the line from the left-hand side now, they'll perform what we call the seesaw, and that's a manoeuvre made up of 2 opposed pedal tines, similar to stall turns in the fixed wing line. They're going to do it all over again now on the left-hand side. Got a big pedal, boots there on the pedals, and it kicks the tail all the way round. Back down into the middle. Now, normally if we had a runway here, you'd see Charlie making his approach to demonstrate a 2-wheeled running landing and then a rearwards 2-wheeled taxi. You may have seen this at other airfields or perhaps on the television. One of the unique features of the crew. Just having conducted that nose over 180, he's now going to reposition for that, what would have been a unique ability of this remarkable helicopter. Position in the middle there, give you a little nod and a bow, and it's just their farewell manoeuvre, just to acknowledge your support for them. There we go, big bow. Off they go now, give them another big cheer and away. You've been watching the 2014 Royal Air Force Chinook display team. Their own personal commentator wasn't able to be here. He's actually in the Middle East at the moment, and he's just asked me to pass on his thanks for all your support and to say what a pleasure it is for the team displaying here. Sadly, they aren't able to stay with us this weekend. They've got, as I mentioned, an awful lot going on at Odeon at the moment, and this particular crew are also performing at the Red Bull Air Race later on this afternoon. Quite responsive at high speed, and of course quite a speed range on this relatively early training aircraft. We're going to see something a little bit older later on in the jet world, but this one the mainstay of Royal Air Force training for a very long time, from 1955 right up until 1993, and it taught generations of new pilots for the Royal Air Force. I'm pretty sure the previous display pilot who was flying the Tucano trained on one of these very aircraft. We go now through his slow speed oblique loop. It's about 180 knots. He's pulling about 4G on this. That's just a reminder, that's 4 times very possible. Putting up now into a nice big little manoeuvres to what he briefly sketched out for me yesterday. And what I'm expecting this time is that he'll come down for a slow roll. And this looks deceptively easy, but actually is quite difficult to do well. There's a little bit of cross-controlling going on in the cockpit as he comes along the line there to keep it going absolutely straight down. And look at it, beautifully flown. Okay, thanks for that, Sam. Keep your eyes up now on the right-hand side, high up there, big orange and white aircraft with two little girls on the top. This is the Breitling wingwalkers. Yes, there you go, uppity up, up and down the under. And the great barnstorming aircraft. These aircraft came onto the market about 15 years after the First World War. There were plenty of trained pilots, plenty of spare aircraft, but not a lot to do. So what did these guys do? Well, they flew them around the Midwest and landed wherever there was a landing strip, fields, roads, whatever, and invited the local population to come along and strut their stuff on the top of the wings. What you're seeing here is not make-believe. These girls are actually real, and they are manoeuvring around the top of the wing. Whilst they might be in a harness for the first part of the show, they will get out of that harness and will actually walk around the top of the wing. Keep your eyes peeled now. You see coming into the middle, they're actually upside down. Flying the aircraft today, two great pilots, Martin Carrington and David Barrell, and on top we've got Danny Hughes and Lydia Beadle. A bit more about them in a moment, but the aircraft are not just standard steermen. These aircraft have got that great big Pratt & Whitney 450 horsepower, 9-cylinder radial, great big 10-foot Hamilton standard propeller, and when all the levers are forward, the tips are almost going supersonic, and that will give that wonderful that smoke also very environmentally friendly. That's Ondina. Absolutely luscious stuff. You can have a bath in it and not worry at all. As well as the additional power of the Gnat engine, they've taken the controls out of the front cockpit, so the girls have somewhere to snuggle down when they're transiting between locations in poor weather, and also to give the aircraft a little more manoeuvrability for this sort of display work. There's extra ailerons in the lower wing as well. Less of that, more of the attention on the aircraft. They keep in tight formation for the first part of the show, and the girls will carry out their gymnastics on the top. And you know the score, when they go past, they'll be waving at you, and it's fantastic. They have seen them as the Crunches, the Ginos, the Utterly Buttleys, but now Breitling, this gorgeous colour scheme. And they'll be with Breitling, I understand, for another couple of years to come. So Sam, tell me about the girls.
Thanks, George. Of course, we've got Danielle and we've got Lydia today. Danielle is in her 8th season with the Wingwalkers, and Lydia is in her 1st season. So Danielle has dreamt of being a wingwalker since the age of 6, after her parents took her to the local air show. She's also a very fit girl because she was a British champion in Taekwondo at the age of 4.
Waving away, look how they're going up into it. That lake just turned upside down again as they were going up. Look at that, Sam. Fantastic.
Absolutely amazing. I think a couple of my friends are going to have a go at this in about a month's time. They're trying to convince me to have a go as well.
Oh, super stuff. Right. Well, Danny stands not to be crossed in the dark alley as a black belt at 14. What about Lydia?
Yep, as I said, this is her 1st season. She's the newest member of the team, and being 21 is also the youngest. Her first flight was in the pouring rain and wind, and even that didn't put her off. The thrill of plummeting during the leap makes her feel as free as a kite, and she really enjoys learning any new manoeuvres that are thrown in her direction.
Yes, there's always a queue for these sort of jobs. I can assure you, not just takes some courage and bravery, but an awful lot of gymnastic workout as well. You'll be very fit to do all this. And of course, you can see the girls trying to choreograph every one of their manoeuvres at the same time that the pilots are working hard to choreograph the manoeuvres of the aircraft. They come round now, they're lying on their sides, but you can see Martin is tucked up right underneath the aircraft. He gently leads the pair. Unless they decide to go upside down, in which Martin takes the lead. Now, on a day like this, they might just attempt the mirror manoeuvre. But we'll wait and see as we get further into this display. Certainly they picked a great day for it.
Yeah, the mirror manoeuvre is actually Lydia's favourite, where she hangs upside down on the inverted plane while reaching for the hand of the wing walker flying below her.
Well, that's quite an achievement, so let's fingers crossed. The last couple of days have been very bumpy here at Eastbourne, but today I think set to be the best of the 4 days. Really captures the imagination, just the sheer noise and also the sight of those aircraft, hugely popular long distance tourers as well. Tracy Curtis last year reenacted a famous flight from Cape Town back up to UK, and we've seen a popular in movies. But now I think we've got a break coming on, so stand by with your cameras. The boys pulling 3 or 4G again in those turns, and of course the girls just having to hang on in those harnesses. And at the same time they're doing all those manoeuvres, the wind blowing across them at about 150 miles an hour. So very hard work for them. They're making it look very simple, but I can assure you it's not. Now both the pilots too have got an enormous amount of experience, Anne.
Yes, they have indeed. Martin's got over 8,000 hours and has flown over 600 displays. And Dave has over 2,200 hours and has flown over 300. So they're really experienced pilots.
Yeah, a lot of fun as well. These guys coming in for a cross this time. Keep your cameras peeled on this next manoeuvre. The blood rushes up to the head. They're full, and then the G comes back on again. The whole company is called aerobatics. They're based up at a lovely little airfield called Royal Flying Corps Rentham, just outside Cirencester. The owner, Vic Norman, a well-known character on the UK air display circuit. Martin acts as the chief pilot, so he's busy all year long, but Dave during the winter spent his time renovating vintage cars. Martin, he knew flying was him from the moment he went for his first flight from his little local airstrip. He'd passed all his flight tests and learned to fly by the age of 16 and has always enjoyed flying these vintage types of aircraft. He went on to become a flying instructor, examiner, and eventually worked at the Imperial War Museum at Duxford, where he flew for many years. See the girls there working incredibly hard, giving you a wave, so come on boys and girls, next time they pass, give them a wave back. They can see you really clearly from the tops of the wings, and of course the boys in the open cockpits as well. And they've got a busy day ahead. They're going straight from here, they're going to get a quick refuel and then go to the Red Bull Air Race training and practice day this afternoon at Ascot. So stand by, I think another cross coming up right in the middle here. High energy stuff, and they really are flying quite low as well. Of course, takes years of practice to trust each other, both each pilot and of course the girls on the wings as well. Now after another couple of manoeuvres they will break apart and the girls will start manoeuvring around the wings, but a little doubt they'll put in a few more manoeuvres because they can get a full show in here in this weather. magnificent men in their flying machines, and they're doing it just to entertain you. Bringing all the pioneering spirit of adventure and a little danger of those interwar years. They're running in high together now, they're chatting to each other, they're going to push down really hard in a moment. Will they go up into a big loop, or will it be a roll? And they're going to roll! Look at that, magnificent. Well, we know any second now whether they're going to attempt the mirror or not. 5 of these aircraft all together up at Rencombe, and they generally working 2 sets of pairs around the country. They're staying low at the moment, so I think they'll be going into another manoeuvre, in which case the girls will be unstrapping from their harnesses. They'll be manoeuvring onto the front end of the upper wing, the leading edge as we call it. I know this is one of Danny's favourite manoeuvres. That's what you're going to see now. It's a bit like standing on the front end of the Titanic. It's the Breitling Wingwalkers version of the Cockpit Lady. Come on, they can see you. They're hanging on just by one arm there. Give them a huge wave, boys and girls, when they come past here. Look at that. Fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Girls now still climbing around the top of the wing there. You can see them. They are doing it for real. And don't forget, there's still a lot of wind going across the top of the wing. They'll now be hanging on to the trailing side of the wing with just yet another arm, and they're repositioning now for another one of their favourite manoeuvres. This time they call it the aerobesque. And I think I heard Martin calling there that this will probably be their last pass, so deserving another huge wave. Yes, here they come now for the last time. The girls up on the top of those wings. Look at that fantastic position they're holding there, hanging on. Oh, brilliant stuff. Come on, what have you got? That's good.
Rolling as slow as he can, lots of coordination of stick and rudder. He rolls the aircraft to end up upside down again. Okay, he's getting towards the end of his display now. He's just going to be diving back down to give you a couple of fly pasts, and as he flies past you can actually see right into the cockpit, and you'll see him waving, and you can see him, he can actually see you too, so give him a big wave as he comes past. There he is, I can see him waving. Although I think Andy potentially couldn't see everybody waving, so he might come past just to give you a second chance. So another wing over now as he dives the aircraft back down. He'll be down at 100 feet above the waves. He'll be at about 200 miles an hour as he comes past. And once again, he'll be waving, and trust me, because he tells me he can see you individually. So give him a big wave. 2014 Royal Air Force Tutor display pilot, Flight Lieutenant Andy Priest. And there he goes now, pointing back towards Shoreham. That's where he's basing himself for the weekend. He'll be go back.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a big round of applause. Here they are. It's the Royal Air Force aerobatic team for 2014. The Royals! Now you'll see the aircraft collapse to around 6 to 8 feet away from each other. Red 1 calls them into short diamond formation. They apex this loop and are a mile above us. Red 1 is squadron leader Jim Turner. It's his third and final year as the team's leader. He is a former Jaguar pilot in the Royal Air Force, but he's very experienced in the display world, having displayed the Jaguar, spent 3 years previously in the Red Arrows, including leading the Synchro pair. He's also been the official advisor to the Royal Saudi Air Force's display team.
Letting in. Now. Back.
Smoke comes on, Reds 2 and 3 acknowledge the move to Eagle. They do so with a very set cadence in their voice. The idea, on the count of 4 in their heads, the pilots extend their air brakes. And on 6, they retract their air brakes. And that enables the 3 aircraft on each wing to drop back in unison to form Eagle, ready for the Eagle roll. Now watch the jets go upside down, boys and girls. The pilots can now see you. Give them a big wave. When the Red Arrows formed in 1964, ready for that first season in 1965, the aircraft they flew was the Folland Gnat, and that was the advanced jet trainer in the Royal Air Force in that era. But in 1976, the Hawker Siddeley Hawk entered service with the Royal Air Force, and in 1980, the Red Arrows started using the Hawk as their aerobatic aircraft, and it's the aircraft we still use today. The Hawk is now a product of BAE Systems, and it's a very successful export aircraft. It's been sold to over 19 countries across the world and continues to impress in its new guise as an advanced jet trainer. Well, out to the front left now, Reds 4 and 5 have moved forward for another shape. This is the planned form of the Sukhoi Su-27, the Russian fighter jet. The NATO codename for the Su-27 is Flanker. About to see a very wide shape. Reds 8 and 9 are going to move to the outside of the formation, and from Red 9's left wingtip through to Red 8's right wingtip, the formation is going to measure 100 meters or 300 feet wide. So to enable them to maneuver the formation as one as they fly around the sky, the pilots on the outside really have to anticipate their control input. So they do so by using the cadence in Red 1's voice command. But now, with some red, white and blue, let's have a huge patriotic round of applause as they come in Phoenix.
that cadence I was describing. But on the leader's right wing now is one of our new pilots. He's Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Stu Campbell. Stu is a former instructor on the Tucano aircraft. You saw it display just a few moments ago, and he taught basic fast jet training as well as displayed the Tucano, and operationally he flew the Tornado GR4. Out to the right now, we're in our trademark shape, ready for the diamond roll. Another big wave then, boys and girls. We fly our formations with the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side. The even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side, and in their 3-year tour with the team, the pilots will generally start at the front near the leader, and as their proficiency improves, they move further back. On the leader's left wing now is Red 3. He's Flight Lieutenant Joe Hurston, and Joe is the other of our first-year pilots. Joe is a former Hawk instructor and Tornado GR4 pilot. In fact, he's the only pilot on the team who's flown this version of Hawk, the Hawk T Mark 1. He's also instructed on the Royal Air Force's new advanced jet trainer, the Hawk T Mark 2. Out to the left, the smoke goes off. The boys have formed a very iconic shape. This is of the supersonic airliner, and they're going to fly the Concorde Loop. Pulling up at 400 miles an hour in Concorde. Another change now as they fly into this loop. At the top of this loop, which is about 6,000 feet, you see the formation changes again. The aircraft have now slowed down to about 150 miles an hour. The G's backed off, and you can see now the shape of Feathered Arrow. Well, Feathered Arrow is a bit of a mouthful to say on the radio. They thought that back in the 60s. So they named this formation Fred. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display. You've seen all 9 aircraft fly close formation aerobatics in formation. We're now going to split down into sections of 2, 3, 4, 5 or 7 aircraft and show you some more dynamic manoeuvring. At the front of the formation are Reds 1 to 5. We call them Enid, after Enid Blyton's famous 5. Reds 6, 7, 8 and 9 at the back are known as Jippo. The Jippo was the nickname of the gentleman who first led the back 4 when the Red Arrows started officially flying 9-ship displays in 1968. But they're going to roll out in that very wide Phoenix formation again, and it's now definitely time to get your cameras ready. Reds 1 to 5, 8 and 9 pull up in Phoenix. Now keep your eyes on the Synchro pair with their blue smoke underneath. Right. This is the Palm Split. With his smoke changing from blue to white on the left-hand side is Red 6. He's the leader of the Synchro pair, Flight Lieutenant James McMillan. James is in his 3rd and final year with the team. He actually grew up in New Zealand, but transferred to the Royal Air Force in 2002 and became a Hawk flying instructor and Harrier pilot. On the left, he is followed by Red 8. Looking right with the smoke on is Red 7, chased down by Red 9. These 4 aircraft are now closing at 850 miles an hour. Get your cameras ready. This is the Jippo Pass. The Synchro pair are now pulling away from us at 6G, or 6 times the force of gravity. Everything in their bodies weighs 6 times more than normal. Those pilots really work hard to counter the G-force as they roll out back towards the coastline to fly the Cyclone. As the Synchro pair now slingshot out to the front, you need to look to your left towards the pier for Enid. Enid drop down to form an inverted V shape. Look right towards Beachy Head. There's a lone jet. That's Red 9, who's now going to fly the Goose. The red, white and blue stripe is Red 9. He's Flight Lieutenant Mike Child, and it's his 3rd and final year as a Red Arrow. He is a former Hawk instructor, Hawk display pilot, and operationally he flew the Typhoon, the Royal Air Force's new multi-role combat aircraft. Enid climbs steeply to our right, but you need to look directly to the front to find the Synchro pair. They pull up in line astern at 500 miles an hour and 5G. The jets reach a height of 7,000 feet. Here comes the smoke as they get ready to draw a heart. Now keep your eyes to the top left of the heart. You'll see another jet approaching who's going to add a final touch. Smoke comes on from Red 8. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Martin Pert. It's his 3rd and final year. He's a former Hawk instructor and Harrier pilot. Red 6, 7 and 8 with their heart and spear. And Red 8, Martin Pert, would like me to dedicate this heart to his sister Lindsay and her partner Steve. A big hello to you all the way from Australia. Left and right again now for the Synchro pair. They're about to descend to just 100 feet. They're going to perform the opposition barrel roll. The next call you'll hear is threshold from each of the pilots. That's their contract point, which means they are continuing with the maneuver. To your right, 45 degrees, you'll see Enid are being joined by Reds 8 and 9. In fact, Red 8 has been flying around at 600 miles an hour to rejoin the formation, having just flown the spear through the heart. The smoke comes on as they are in now a 7-ship Vixen formation. Red 1 now twist this loop towards us through 90 degrees in a quarter clover.
Holding back.
Now get your cameras ready.
Brake, go.
This is the vertical brake. Left and right again now for the Synchro pair. This time Red 6 comes from our right and Red 7 from our left. They're closing at 800 miles an hour. They're going to cross 3 times in opposing 360 degree 6G turns. Get ready now for the carousel. They're pulling 6G, they're going to cross 3 times. Now notice that the pilots at each of these 3 crosses swap their smoke colour using the individual colour control buttons on the aircraft's control column. Now drag your eyes right 45 degrees to find Enid. benefit, and they're going to draw a red, white and blue snake-like shape of smoke in the sky as they perform the Python. As that leader's benefit shape is red 4. He's Flight Lieutenant Ollie Parr, and he's a second-year pilot with the Red Arrows this year. He is a former Tornado GR4 pilot, but he has spent a tour instructing on the Hawk at Royal Air Force Valley on the Isle of Anglesey in North Wales, where we train our advanced flying students. The Python finishes to the left. Now look towards the pier for JITTER-MODE. Red 6 and 7, pitch up to roll, upside down. This is the corkscrew. Red 7 there, working hard, flying his jet only 8 feet away from Red 6, but doing it while he's upside down. Now look left to find the 5 headlights of Enid. The inside pilots perform tight match rolls to the outside of the formation in the rollbacks. Looking to the right to find JITTER-MODE.
Holding the bank now. Rolling.
Once again, 6 and 7 upside down, 8 and 9 beneath them in the mirror pass. Let's give the Synchro pair a wave as they fly past upside down. Red 6 widens the formation into a 4-ship square card formation. But now, look again, right 45 degrees. Reds 1 to 4 form a 4-ship box formation. Now here he goes, Red 5 rolling around Enid a dozen times.
Right. Now.
This is the Twister.
Holding the bank. Now, right.
Getting very dizzy with his red smoke on now is Red 5, Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. Steve is a second-year pilot with the team. He is a former Hawk instructor, and operationally he's flown both the Harrier GR9 and the Tornado GR4 before joining the team last year. Look directly to the front now to find the 4 jets of JITTER-MODE. Reds 8 and 9 pitch up to roll around 6 and 7. Cameras ready for the JITTER-MODE break. With his smoke changing from blue to white. On the right-hand side is red 7. He's Synchro number 2, Flight Lieutenant Mark Lawson. Mark is a second-year pilot with the team. His background is solely on the Tornado GR4, where he spent 3 tours flying over Iraq, Afghanistan and Libya, and became a qualified weapons instructor. The Synchro pair are now perched at around 2,000 feet. They start their descent to 100 feet above the sea for their final manoeuvre, the double rolls. Ladies and gentlemen, please a massive round of applause for the fantastic Synchro pair! Now look directly to the front where you'll see Enid are being joined by Reds 8 and 9 for the display's finale. Red 9 forms back into 7-ship Vixen formation. Cameras ready. This is the Vixen break. You've been watching the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows! Puts his smoke on, he's going to get all the other 8 aircraft visuals so that they can join back into a 9-ship to recover back to Biggin Hill Airport, where our team of Blues will service the jets ready for our display tomorrow here at Airbourne. You can see now Red 6 flying over Beachy Head to rejoin. Red 7 comes in and they're going to get all 9 jets back together. If you'd like to find out more about the team, please visit our website, which is raf.mod.uk/Reds, or on Facebook we're RAF Red Arrows, and on Twitter we are at RAF Red Arrows. But Red 1 is going to give us a nice little treat before they head off, because they've got to come back this way anyway. He's going to give us one final fly pass in from our right-hand side in just a couple of minutes' time. Normally we would fly a fly past like this in big battle formation, which is a big V shape with all 9 jets smoking, but since Red 1 is in a non-smoking aircraft, then we will do this in diamond formation. Incidentally, back in the 60s and 70s when the team flew the Gnat, they had aircraft that didn't have a smoking capability, and they called those aircraft tin ships. What you'll see though is the pilots have their air brakes extended. For these flypasts we try to extend our air brakes where we have the fuel that allows it. The air brake is a big panel that hangs down at the back of the jet, and we put that out to create drag to slow the aircraft down. A secondary effect of having the air brake out is that we need to have a much higher power setting to maintain speed, and that higher power setting gives us a really deep colour in our red and blue smoke. The smoke we use is produced by just injecting regular diesel fuel into the aircraft's 400-degree engine exhaust, and that makes it vaporise. The white smoke is pure diesel, and to get the red and blue we add a dye to the diesel, and we can carry 5 minutes of white smoke and a minute each of red and blue in each jet. So you can see them coming in now, back towards us. There'll be just another few seconds or so. What I'd like everyone down here on the promenade to do is, when they come and fly past, it's your turn to perform. I need to hear the biggest clap and cheer you can possibly give, and I'm going to hold my left hand up with the radio in it, and I'm going to press the transmit button so that the pilots can hear how much you hopefully enjoyed the display. But did you enjoy the display? Okay, these radios are pretty old, they're from the 60s I think. They won't hear if you're that quiet, so you need to be a lot louder. So next time, at least twice as loud, please. In diamond now, from the right, you'll see the white smoke come on. When the red, white and blue happens, please, the biggest clap and cheer, as here they are. It's the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows! So the white smoke comes on, then he turns the smoke off. They're going to fly back to Biggin Hill which will take around 4 minutes or so, and then they're going to land. And then if you want to come and meet the pilots, they're actually coming back into Eastbourne to meet all of you wonderful people this afternoon.
I want to hear it now, because he's the shy one of the team. Come on, Tom. Look at that, perfect. Absolutely beautiful, Tom. And lastly, we've got Carrie Stacey Fleming, leading hand, our female jumper of the team. Fantastic jumper. She's only been jumping about a year and she's come on leaps and bounds. Well done, Carrie. Fantastic. What's going to happen now, the team are going to put down their parachutes, just collapse everything, they've done their berries, and they're going to come and meet the Mayor, Janet Coles, and MP Stephen Lloyd. So just give us 2 minutes and the guys will be there. Yeah, I was just talking to the team leader and he's telling me he couldn't believe how much the wind's picked up in the last hour. So that's a fantastic job. If, as I said, if any of you would like to come and talk about parachuting, come down to Netheravon, do a tandem skydive, do it for a charity, come and do it because it's your birthday. Come and talk to us at the top as we're packing the parachutes. Please don't be shy. If you want to talk to us about how we pack parachutes, any questions, however silly, come and ask us. We're all very helpful. Okay, we're just waiting for we're just waiting for Matt to put on his ferret. And here come the guys. They're going to line up. Over here, Tom. Fantastic. Let's hear it for the Royal Navy Raiders, please, everyone. Oh, fantastic. As I say, the guy at the end, Steve Murphy, he's a local lad from Eastbourne. A few of you might recognise him as he used to be a traffic warden before he joined the army. So give him a big cheer.
This is the Lynx display for 2014. And there we go into the first roll, and I'm going to say no magic or smoke and mirrors here. This is a helicopter doing what the big boys in the fixed wing world do. So having done that roll just as a warm-up, he's going to pull up now into what looks like a loop, and he's putting it right over the top on his back, and he's going to twist it, and that is the helicopter version of what we call the half Cuban. Now, the Lynx has been the mainstay of Army Air Corps operations for a good 30 years or so, and indeed a great platform it has been for a multitude of different activities across the world. But here now, strapping it through a 270-degree turn in the hands of two very capable aviators, Warrant Officer Class 1 Mick Kildee and Captain Neil Posthumous. On their way out to sea now, they're going to put it up into another loop, a complete loop all the way around. So as I say, no magic there, and all thanks to what we call the semi-rigid titanium head. So having completed that successfully, pulling up now, look at that great silhouette against the sky. This is what we call the pedal turn. Now the aircraft's been used extensively throughout numerous operations, both in armed conflicts during 1991 in the Gulf, armed with tow missiles, but also regularly with a gunner in the side door holding and operating a GPMG. But right now you're going to see the unique trademark of the Army Air Corps displays that's featured for many years with the Blue Eagles. Crew are now just up at around 800 to 900 feet. They're just checking the stability, and here is the trademark manoeuvre coming up for the first time, the backflip.
Yeah, backflip. What is that helicopter?
And a really extraordinary manoeuvre going from an absolutely steady, stable hover, pulling the cyclic right back into your stomach and going right over the top of yourself. A very bizarre manoeuvre to experience. And keep keep your eyes peeled now as the crew put this helicopter up, and this time instead of a full pedal turn, they're going to do a hanging stall turn. And look at it, it's just holding it there on its side, a very unnatural position. And you see it's just pulled towards you there just to counteract the strength of the wind. Just drifting down a bit, they're correcting back into the centre now as they fly back in. Mr. Kildee is training young pilots to convert onto this aircraft at Middle Wallop, and also teaching them about how to operate it in a fighting role. A very talented chap. He got awards and prizes at every stage of his flying training career, and spent some time as a fixed-wing instructor teaching aerobatics, and you can see where he got his talent for bringing that into the helicopter world. Putting up now, we'll go fully nose up and then push it over the top and nose down again. Again, very uncomfortable feeling in the cockpit. Not a lightweight helicopter this, a regular battlefield helicopter taken off the line. No particular prepping or special additions for display work. Alongside Mr. Kildee is Captain Neil Postumus. He comes from South Africa, joined the Army Air Corps in 2007, has been a bit of a specialist in non-standard operations. He's a bit of an expert now in maritime and Arctic and desert warfare. He is currently the second in command of 671 Squadron at Middle Wallop. Going to do much the same again now. They put it right up into the vertical, holding it up there for a second, almost looks as though you can fall out of the sky, and then push the cycling all the way forward. Big cockpit full of seawater. Again, you can see now as the helicopter goes past the rigidity of the rotor head. That is what it gives it the ability to do these extraordinary manoeuvres. And this will almost certainly be the last year of the Mark 7 Lynx Air fully aerobatic display. Both the Navy and the Army Air Corps now converting to the brand new Wildcat helicopter. The derivative in a way but of the Lynx family, but it is a new design, a new build. You'll see it around the country next year. It's a very slightly different shape, got all sorts of additions and brand new electronics inside as well. Now the crew moving into a rearward transition at about 50 knots, going backwards, just keeping their eyes peeled forwards on a fixed point to keep the aircraft straight and level. Putting the tail up now, they'll rotate 180 degrees, fly off in the other direction. Really brings out all the agility in this machine for good close-up operations in a tight combat or other operational area. And they're able to nip in and out using nap of the earth tactics to get in close to the action. Over the many years of operations in Northern Ireland, the Mark 7 was a well-known feature in the skies where they would be dropping in at short notice a stick of troops, maybe just 4, who would carry out various short notice patrols or vehicle searches, but the aircraft now pulling up for the second time this afternoon. If you missed it the first time, get your cameras ready, because the crew now just checking the stabilisation, all the T's and P's. It'll be the last chance you'll get to see it today, the Army Air Corps' backflip. Lovely throaty roar, and when they pull into a tight turn you get a nice bit of blade slap as well, just gives a bit of an extra bit of sound and resonance, but also giving you an opportunity to just see how tightly you can manoeuvre the Lynx helicopter. Interesting to note that both the lead display pilots of the Army Air Corps this year, both warrant officers. We have considerably more senior NCOs flying Army Air Corps helicopters than we do officers, and we're very proud of that tradition. Here they are now just manoeuvring back into the crowd centre. So they'll give you a little nod and flash the light on and off when they do that, boys and girls. When you see the light flash, just give them a wave. That means they'll be looking out of the cockpit and trying to give you a wave as well. There we go, there's the first flick. And another one. Give you a little nod there. If you're in the middle, give them a wave down because they're looking down at you. And they're then going to just manoeuvre backwards. And they'll give you a great big bow before flying off. Really superb and flexible machine, being used heavily, and of course the aircraft family itself still holding the helicopter world speed record of just a little under 250 miles an hour, which was set 27 years ago. No sign of that being beaten at all at the moment. But now the Army Air Corps heavily involved with the tasking and training and fielding of the new Wildcat helicopter. But here now the crew in their final pass for the afternoon. Good opportunity to give them a wave. They will be a bit slower this time, coming down the fly line from the left-hand side. This is Warrant Officer Class 1 Mick Kildee and Captain Neil Posthumus from the Army Air Corps, the 2014 Army Air Corps Lynx Mark 7 helicopter display. Well done, guys. Give them a wave. It's a great shame that we don't have the Royal Navy representing themselves with a helicopter here this weekend, otherwise we would have had a full hat-trick of the tri-service helicopter regime. Of course, all the battlefield helicopters are managed by the Joint Helicopter Command.
He completed a flying scholarship with the RAF at the age of 18 and studied at Cambridge University, where he also met Mark and joined the University Air Squadron. He joined the RAF in 1998 and was selected for fast jet training, which he undertook on the Tucano and the Hawk aircraft, of which you've seen both today. So these chaps are going to come back in from your left-hand side in a canopy up pass in echelon, so you'll be able to see the top of the aircraft, so it'll be a perfect moment for a photograph. Mark Fitzgerald, who is the pilot that's flying the red and white aircraft, completed his initial RAF pilot training during the late 90s. Since then, he's continued to fly numerous military fixed-wing and rotary aircraft, including the jet Provost, Gnat and Huey helicopter.
After the years following the Second World War, it became general practice to fly a Spitfire and a Hurricane down the Mall to commemorate the end of that war. That sowed the seeds for today's Battle of Britain Memorial flight, led by Wing Commander Peter Thompson. It was at that stage the commander of Biggin Hill. He brought together the last surviving aircraft, focused on the 3 Spitfire PR-19s, and they were part of the temperature and humidity monitoring flight at the time, and it was his leadership and inspiration and initiative which led to the foundations for forming what we have today. An absolutely marvellous collection of aircraft, all in outstanding condition and mentored and looked after by some really dedicated personnel in the Royal Air Force, but of course supported by the entire country, you the taxpayer, and indeed particularly the people of Lincolnshire. Keep your eyes peeled now down to the left-hand side, because that is where the aircraft will come from. And this must be, for you, Keith, a very special moment.
It certainly is. I've only seen the aircraft fly together a few times, and every time it just stops your heart. It's amazing to think about all of those people that gave their lives in Bomber Command and the debt that we owe them, and this just brings that back to life.
So now look up and let us remember pay homage, but also enjoy this magnificent sight, the Battle Britain Memorial Flights with the Canadian Wartime Heritage Museum, Lancaster Mark 10. Spitfires will break off and give an opportunity for us to savour this moment. This magnificent aircraft, without doubt the most famous and successful Royal Air Force heavy bomber of World War II. A legend that lives on today, and the contribution made by the aircraft and its crews to the freedom of our nation will hopefully never be forgotten. The prototype Lancaster took to the air for its first flight from Woodford and Manchester on the 9th of January 1941. And the first production Lancaster flew later that year in October. New aircraft for operations was number 44 Squadron at Waddington, quickly followed by number 97 Squadron at Woodhall Spa. The performance of the Lancaster was simply outstanding. It can carry a maximum bomb load of 22,000 pounds. We pause now as the Spitfires return to take to the sky. Again, another inspirational design from R.J. Mitchell. Such was the success of this. Sadly, he died far too young to see the outrageous success that this aircraft had. Produced in greater numbers than any other British combat aircraft before or since the war, a phenomenal 20,341 Spitfires were built in 22 different variants. Prototype of the Spitfire first flew on the 5th of March 1936. The Spitfires entered Royal Air Force service with number 19 Squadron in August 1938. The early days of the Battle of Britain, the Hurricane, however, was fielded in far greater numbers and consequently scored the majority of the kills. The development potential of the original design of the Spitfire allowed it to establish and then maintain the air superiority so vital to the defence of Britain.
Display Team 2014 here at Eastbourne. Now the Blades are one of the only aerobatic display teams out there that are allowed to arrive over the crow's head into man formation, man blue. Throughout this display, you will see them pulling up 10G and -5G during their display. For this, they're going up into the card formation and casually stalling over to the right and left for the champagne fountain. Now, something that some of you may like to know that has got the cameras in their hands ready. We do have a Facebook and Twitter competition. For the best photos out there, please put them on our Facebook and Twitter. do choose the best photos, go on our Blaze gallery to win a Blaze t-shirt. To the left and right, you'll be able to see Blaze 2, who's our part-time pilot, Chris Carter, also flying the Virgin Atlantic plane. And Blaze 3, coming in from the right, is our Smithy. They're performing the 4-point roll snap, pulling through the opposition circle, flying at each other at a combined speed of 250 miles per hour. Now again, taking your eyes to the left and right, you'll be able to see Blaze 1, Mark Hutt, also known as Cutty, and Blaze 4, Andy Evans, following the 1v4 from. I'm sure that got some of your hearts pumping there. That was the paired tail slide display. Turn up the throttle and put the engine back on so fall through the sky. Now as you take your eyes to the left, you'll be able to see Blaze 4 Andy Evans taking centre stage doing his solo. Now Andy is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, but when he gets in that cockpit, absolutely balmy man. Now this manoeuvre is called the launcher back. This launcher back is Czechoslovakian for headache or hangover, and some of you can well imagine that feeling. This next manoeuvre is one of the hardest manoeuvres that they have ever done, including in the Red Arrows. You may recognise it from the Yorkshire TV advert as they pull up out of a hot steaming cup of tea. Pull up into vertical, stalling over to the left for the hammerhead. As you can see, they line up one above the other. At this point, there are only 12 feet apart from each other. This next move is dedicated to those brave souls who fought in the Battle of Britain. This is the Spitfire run. Competition going on at the moment. All you need to do is upload your photos onto our Twitter page at the Blaze Team and our Facebook page, the Blaze.
Noel now will be running in at about 150 feet. You may be seeing him very soon. He'll be accelerating up to 500 knots. I think we can just see him now, ladies and gentlemen. So please put your hands together and make some noise for Flight Lieutenant Noel Rees as he brings the noise with the 2014 Royal Air Force Typhoon display. Typhoon has over 200 computers on board, with 4 computers dedicated to flying the aircraft. This helps the pilot, giving him carefree handling, as can be seen here with his steer down in a dirty barrel roll. Experiencing negative 3 G. Negative 3 G there. That's one of the most uncomfortable maneuvers in the whole display, with all his birds trying to rush to his head. And Noel now accelerating down the back end of that half Cuban and accelerating up to 600 knots. That's about 690. As legally fast as he's allowed to fly overland in peacetime. And pulling up into a 9G manoeuvre there. Luckily for Noel, he's protected by some very, very technical equipment. He wears a full-body G-suit which squeezes all the blood back into his head, allowing him to remain conscious throughout the manoeuvre. Noel now performing a sequence of dairy turns. Dairy turn is one of the basic manoeuvres of air-to-air combat, where the aircraft is rolled one way and the pilot turns in the other in attempt to outwit a pursuing opponent. Noel now once again selecting throttles idle as he decelerates for his low-speed pass.
Low speed.
As he comes past here, he will have a ground speed of around 130 miles an hour. And for an aircraft that weighs around 16 tons, to be flying at the speed that a light aircraft can fly at is pretty incredible. Now this is one of the only times that Noel gets a chance to look down at the crowd. So as he comes past, please give him a wave and show him your appreciation. The full power of those two EJ200 engines as Noel accelerates upwards into a barrel roll away from the crowd. he performs that task from bases in Lincolnshire and in Fife. He's also based down in the Falkland Islands, protecting UK interests in the South Atlantic, and recently in Lithuania as part of the Baltic Air Policing Force for NATO. Again, about experiencing positive 9G as he performs a minimum. Skywards and departing in a zoom climb, where he'll climb from 200 feet up to around 5,500 feet in under 5 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together and give a big cheer for Flight Lieutenant Noel Rees and the 2014 RAF. Departs for Biggin Hill. If anyone in the crowd would like to know more about Noel and the rest of the team, the display, or the Royal Air Force, please come down and see our trailer, which is located in the RAF village in the Western Lawn.
Right, it is tricky when you're walking up and down. Please be careful. Do stick to the footpath and the steps. The garden is not a good place to walk along, and that's all the children there. Please make sure you stay on the pavement and on the steps. Please do not walk up the gardens. Thank you. Okay, back to the flying. Here they come. This is C522 Squadron, and you see there the wingman giving you a great wave. Now, of course, these squadrons provide 24-hour cover all around the UK and the Falkland Islands throughout the year. A venerable aircraft, the Sea King, will be running out of service in the next year or so. It should be completely out in 2016. And of course, the contract's now going to a commercial search and rescue organisation. Very capable machine, 2 Rolls-Royce Gnome turbo shafts on board, each producing over 1,300 shaft horsepower. The aircraft's got a maximum speed of 125 knots, a max altitude of 10,000 feet. Generally with a crew of 4, which you're going to see in action today. Both parts of the aircraft are used in the search and rescue role. You see the winchman being deployed. A very dangerous, testing job, looking very simple on a day like this, but of course in adverse conditions, in a very heavy sea on a January night, with 20, 30 foot waves, a very, very unpleasant experience altogether. So the winchman taking a dunking himself and voluntarily dropping into the ocean. You can see him flapping about now, but his bright orange equipment showing up very well indeed. Each of the squadrons in this role maintains a 15-minute readiness state during daylight hours, 45-minute readiness state during the night. So, having left the survivor in the water there, you see he's now ignited some smoke. Search and rescue team in the Sea King, manoeuvring around into a circuit. They'll be assessing the wind and sea state as well, and working out what is the best angle to approach to pick up the survivor. In the search role, the Sea King is able to operate to precise navigational standards. It's fitted with a multi-band homing system. It's also got satellite navigation systems, a search radar, and a comprehensive avionics suite with a large selection of radios. What you're going to see now, though, is a demonstration of its rescue role. The aircraft being equipped with a hydraulically operated main rescue hoist, also an electrically operated emergency rescue hoist, and electrical connection suitable for powering medical equipment. Coming in at right angles now to the survivor. You see the smoke. Smoke has drifted a little bit downwind from him, and he is easily visible in his survival equipment. Gently manoeuvring in, adjusting their speed, slowing it down, getting ready to put, see the witchman already coming down off the hoist. Again, they're making it look very easy. It's just a beautiful day today. The wind is a little bit strong, but nothing compared to some of the conditions these crews have to go out in. Role are also fitted with a video and infrared detection pod, similar to the equipment used by police helicopters to help search for casualties. Witchman there just dipping his toes in the water, holding off until he gets nearer, and you can see just how far the smoke is drifted away from the survivor. It doesn't take long. So you can imagine how difficult it is to pinpoint the survivor. Into each other. He'll now be checking the casualty for immediate injuries, checking his conscious state, and then getting the hoist around him. He needs a little bit of cooperation to do that. All the crews also trained in operating night vision goggles. Now you see the witchman giving instructions to the hoist controller. The rear crewman who is up there in the doorway. Crew, of course, normally 4 members, 2 pilots, one of whom is the aircraft captain, a radar operator who acts as a winch operator, and a witchman. The witchman normally trained to a paramedic standard. he's the man who's supplying immediate first aid and recovery services at the rescue site. So, successfully on board now, they will be conducting that first aid and radioing ahead to where is the nearest medical facility that has the provision to match the injuries that the survivor has sustained. After a long history, the squadron eventually reformed in 1955 as a search and rescue unit with whirlwinds. But here they go now, flying off down the beach. Great chance for you all to give them a wave. These guys working 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to look after everybody's interests on land and in the ocean. In the hands today, thank you, Flight Attendant Tom Julius for B-Flight 2212. See the whole crew waiting there up in the cockpits out of the back door, thoroughly enjoying themselves.